All right. Here we go. Now you're on screen, dude. It's kind of cool. Just waiting for
Petty.
Petty. Yeah. Only I can hear you when you're like that.
You need me to bring the mic up?
Are you trying to hide it? Yeah, that doesn't work.
Okay.
It's got to be within inches of your mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see?
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right.
If we can hear each other on the speakers,
Yeah,
that's the goal.
that's what you want. All right.
Yeah. And then we're relational to the music in the background.
Okay.
And yeah, that's that. Oh, I can't see you though. You moved your chair way over.
Oh, I did. Am I not on screen?
Well, I forgot that's a negative. No, I mean, I can't look at you. When
Oh
I
no,
talk
I
to
can't.
you.
I can't see either. Yeah. All right. So I'd have to turn like this. So,
Car key.
car key. Oh. Where's that water? Oh, right. Oh. Yeah, yeah, it's really good actually. I love it. Well, that's the thing though. I'm not, basically using as much as I had. Corey Winkleman, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Friedrich Nietzsche. All right, so what topics do we have tonight? We have ice in Milwaukee. Well, Minnesota, not Milwaukee, that's Wisconsin. All right, so Minnesota. We have Iran. We have, what else are we doing? Venezuela and Greenland. All right, I just choked up right there. All right, so Venezuela, Greenland, Minnesota, Iran. All right. So what we can talk about tonight? Oh yeah, girl. Bit it smooth, bit it low. We need Petty.
Yeah, I just texted him.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I hope he gets here. It'd be nice to see him.
Just eventually.
We're gonna have to tell him as soon as he gets here, though, that you're live on the air. Because he'll be like,
Maybe.
Maybe he'll fall right into it. Maybe he'll come to him just like riding a bicycle.
Well, if he's stopping where I think he's stopping, he might have to do stuff on camera and then come back on camera. I don't know.
I love living in California.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Dude.
Thing is right now nobody watches this stuff. People have lives, so I believe we're in an on-demand world.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the swing of things. So we were talking about like just trying to make the, trying to bring awareness and make the world a better place. But that sounds so corny when you say it, because like,
You can have a seat now.
well, just get my bearing.
You can always take a stretch of a walk thing, but there we go. That's better.
Thank you. All right, so Venezuela. So Venezuela is in a permanent crisis mode, contested elections at home, and deportations and crackdowns abroad. And now Trump 2.0 is shaping Venezuela's lives from the White House. Well,
let me put on the screen that you're reading there.
Yeah.
So this is from AI web searching.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Perplexity.
Yeah. See, you know,
we could look at the sources.
Yeah.
Challenge whatever.
Yeah.
But
how do you feel about Venezuela right now, man? How do you feel about us going into a foreign country and basically snatching its president?
Well, I don't know how to feel. You know, so what I did is I looked at Venezuelans, you know, that I trusted and got what they felt. You know, I wanted their opinion because, you know, how do they feel about their country?
And what did you see?
The number one popular guy that I trusted was that big hairy CIA dude, Bustamante, where you could be everyday spy.
Oh boy, I never heard of him.
I could totally pull him up, but he's popular. He's basically like how to get into a CIA. He's actually married to a CIA. They're both ex-CIA. Wrote a book, and his family's Venezuelan. He's from Venezuela, and he's totally for it. He's happy. He's like, and then here's what's going to happen. He's like, we're going to let their government collapse because that's expected, and then we're going to favor the American-friendly political party, and then, you know, supply them and help them, blah, 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 blah. But it's going to be
do we know already process. What the favored American political party is, or the American favorite? Like, have we already recognized those individuals?
I don't know.
That leadership?
But just to go back to your original question, how do I feel about it? I feel positive because he was positive. He was like, you know, he actually cut his big long hair and now it's like short. But he said he was going to do that when he was going to leave the country, but he made it like.
So did he actually say those words that we're going to let the government collapse?
Yes.
Wow. So where does that leave? I mean, ultimately, like, people are going to die.
Well, you know? That's how you change a power, is you have to have something fall. Right?
All right.
I guess.
So people are going to die for this. You know?
I don't know about dying. I mean, you know, I think in any huge change like this, you know, French Revolution, all that stuff, there's death. You know, and that's like it's like Civil War, you name it.
That sacrifice.
You know, when there's that much change and you're forced and you can't live that way, you're going to give your life for it, right? I guess. It's you know, so to go back to your question, it's like I'm not allowed to feel about it, in my opinion, because, you know.
Yo, what up, dude? Yo. Petty just rolled in. What's going on, bro? Get a bottle of water, pick up a mic. All right. So right now, don't worry, they can only hear you if your voice comes through the speaker, and that's how they can hear. Yeah. So the monitors are, you know. Yeah, we got to get cans, basically. Yeah, there ain't no cans.
So it's live.
You're live on the air.
Well, you mentioned Venezuela, so I put it on the list. No, but, you know,
Yeah, now I can.
Like, or,
So with this full one,
All right. So the title of this podcast I put is it's Weekdaze dash Polarized colon U.S. versus in parentheses question mark and then these 4 areas. That's what it was, so Venezuela, Greenland, Minnesota, Iran. I'm saving the hottest one for last, I guess, maybe, because that's probably the most current, but, so we're just going to ease our way there. I think Minnesota's pretty damn hot, too. I think Greenland and Venezuela are kind of in the same boat if I were to group them together, because everyone's like, they went, Trump went after Venezuela. Now they're going to go anywhere they can go, anything they have. I think what's interesting, did you guys hear about them maybe using sonic weapons? I think.
well, sonic weapons. I didn't hear about that. So what is that?
there's a story about a couple of the soldiers. Couple of the soldiers that survived the attack or the
Or like
arrest or abduction or whatever you want to call it, the Maduro incident. The soldiers that survived it described it as a force they'd never, encountered, couldn't even imagine something like that. They basically said it seemed like each one of their soldiers was shooting 300 rounds per second or per minute. I don't know what. He basically made it sound like it was overwhelming force,
Right.
just kinetically, and then all of a sudden everybody fell to the ground with a, it felt like their heads were gonna explode, and people started having nosebleeds, and they just collapsed. Everybody collapsed, and everybody else got shot, and then the guy got abducted
Wow.
or arrested or escorted or I don't know. Maybe he'd already made a deal, months before with Trump just to, be able to exit the country. He's like, hey, you guys just got to make a big production out of this,
Right.
make it look like a Hollywood movie and come and get me.
Wow.
Who knows?
Who knows?
There's a lot of
So this is that
lot of
sonic weapon.
conspiracy theories out
Wow,
there,
dude.
right?
Well, there's no evidence, and there's some, I guess, high subscribed people talking with apparently credible resources, but they can't prove it. And apparently, I don't know. This is the word of mouth stuff. Like they're like a lot of people came in, we had a lot of people, but everything went out, and I couldn't even move. And I don't know. Just kind of like what he was saying. And
It's the
so,
first time I'm hearing about it. So definitely, it's
No,
enlightening.
there's definitely a story out there about it, like a first-hand experience,
Yeah.
From the Venezuelan side.
hey,
Right.
maybe we should ask Perplexity here and see what it says.
Go for it.
All right. I need my glasses though.
Okay.
Let's see.
So you're gonna ask Perplexity AI.
Well, using their Comet browser.
Okay. Have you ever used
Is
Perplexity?
there any?
For what?
Work stuff just to kind of compare, between it and Gemini
On
or ChatGPT.
Which one are you going with?
unique U.S. weapons.
For the most part, it's
used
Gemini.
in
Gemini. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. I put a very generic. Yes, there's some evidence. Well, I guess I didn't say what type. Um,
Asking for, yeah, any firsthand uh,
sonic
description
weapons.
of Sonic.
Venezuela's sonic weapon story for the raid.
Venezuela guard in a video
One,
shows an
yeah.
invisible sound made the guard bleed from the nose, vomit blood, and collapse. That oh, so
Oh,
one anonymous Venezuelan soldier talked about the sonic weapon that made other soldiers. You you'd think this would be coming from more than one person if what I'm reading is true.
yeah, only one person.
Yeah.
I yeah, so I think,
Anyways, but yeah, this one story or first, hand experience has made the rounds already because somebody told me about it and then I saw a separate story on it and then now you search and it's there.
eh,
But it was also again on the news today about some sort of a lawsuit, possibly somebody suing the government to have some information disclosed about what they know about this weapon.
well, the government, it might as well be in the UFO bucket, if you ask me. Because they're always going to keep things from the public, like Epstein files that we were
Yeah.
discussing earlier,
Ugh.
from us because they don't want to know.
It,
It's not a need to know thing.
Yeah, dude. Seriously. I mean,
I mean, we're free as Americans, but we're not free to see that shit.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
if there is something they're not telling us about, okay, fine. If there is something that and that doesn't exist, okay, fine. You know, um, it's one soldier according to Perplexity AI. So with that said, moving on.
oh yeah, moving on to sonic weapon, that's not a big deal.
Yeah,
So okay, let's just
I mean,
Venezuela. Does
Venezuela's
anyone feel negative about it, or are you positive?
well, I mean, going in and snatching a president, a diplomat at you know, at best and, an asshole at worst. It was basically, um, you know what, man? I don't make those decisions, and I wish I could.
It sounds like
But
you're worried about something.
well,
Maybe we don't clean up well, and that's your concern.
it's more like, where does our
But it sounds like it was a mess.
yeah, what's the end game? What's the end game here? Are they going to make Venezuelan, people's lives better? Are their working man going to like basically be able to have things just a little bit easier because of this? Or are they still going to struggle? Are they still going to be like, struggling every day to make ends
Well,
meet?
it's going to go from fascism to capitalism. That's what's going to happen. That's what happened. They're fascists that's gone, and now they're going to become a capitalist country.
So there's going to be the haves and the have-nots.
Same as America.
Yeah,
Yeah, the freedom to be rich or poor, probably.
yeah, probably.
But
Yeah,
they have a lot of oil, so maybe they get like Alaska benefits of subsidies, some money back. I don't know. That'd
I
be
hope
great.
so. I hope so. Let's help those that need help. Especially when you're using a resource that's finite and that's your national resource. That's the people's resource. That's how it should be. It's Mother Nature's resource, ultimately. But you're going to if you're not going to enrich the working population and the mass population in this day and age,
Someone's electronic.
it's it's going to get to the point where you're always going to have a population that thinks that you're being greedy, you as the power that's controlling those resources. And Venezuela's got a shitload of oil. And
Well, the biggest reserve, yeah.
I mean, just take a look at their standard of living. Like Dostoevsky said, take a look at, if you want to know how a country treats their population, look at their prisons.
Well, I think they're in a better place. I think they're going in the right direction because I mean there were parades in the city after he was gone.
Yeah.
and some other people have not spoken bad. Restaurant owners in
How
LA,
many
they're
red shirts have
Venezuelan.
you seen since have you seen any red shirts on the street or anybody like
What's a red
speaking?
shirt?
Well, the socialists, the party of Hugo Chavez, they all red, you know, and then the color red. And then,
I haven't seen any.
Maduro is just the torch carrier, the next torch carrier behind, what Hugo Chavez brought to the scene.
What were you gonna say, Patty?
So is there a color for the opposition?
Well, I mean, there are like, the standard colors of political leanings.
No, but I mean, if there's red shirt, maybe we search.
Well, red
for
well,
red
red is
tees for,
generally a socialist
Oh, that's
movement
true.
color,
Yeah,
the
well,
color of socialism,
I gotta be
you
honest.
know.
I think Venezuela is not a hot topic right now. I
No,
Well,
in one sense,
it
there
is
is
a hot
there
topic.
is
It's just
a
there
I think
is
Minnesota's the hot
there's
topic
a
right
cutoff.
now.
There's a cutoff
In
for
Greenland.
Venezuela, and I think we've reached it. You know.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah.
a
Final
new,
thoughts on
a
Venezuela.
new
I say yay.
precedent was set.
Yeah.
With
Well,
what happened, and it
it-
will have consequences.
Well,
Other countries. Okay, so let's say tomorrow,
sure.
the spat between Thailand and Cambodia spins a little bit more out of control, and the Thai king goes, "Hey, you guys should just go and take that guy out." And they go and take him out before anyone can even react to it.
Yeah.
And then what
Who's
kind
the
of
stronger
world do you
power
want
here,
it to be?
Thailand or Cambodia? Thailand? Yeah, dude. Southeast Asia conflicts, bro. Ooh.
No, that's just a.
I don't want to touch that with a
I'm
10-foot
just
pole.
making that as a random example. I don't think there is a chance in the world that those guys would do it, because a lot of them are Buddhists, and like they actually are a lot more peaceful than we are. A lot more.
Oh, dude.
Anyways, no, the thing about Venezuela is that other great powers
Yeah.
are gonna act in the same way. It's inevitable that
Yeah.
and we've
You know-
just made the world a little bit more unsafe in that manner.
Yeah.
But I agree with you guys. It's going in the right direction as
Yeah.
far as the country opening up to more development, right? If those are the people's natural resources and they're untapped and need investment, to be able to.
Which brings up that saying, making the news, 2 or 3 days ago, was Chevron CEO saying that Venezuela is uninvestable.
Yeah. In the state that it is.
Oh,
Yeah, we got some feedback.
hello.
It's acting like a metal detector on you. It's
My
interesting. Oh, my own?
Maybe it's the way the microphone's getting.
Is it loose? Yeah, but that doesn't.
When he waves, I think it's like one of the.
Here, how about you guys switch mics for fun? Just
Alright.
for fun.
No, it's how you hand. Yeah, you can't.
Just
you
wiggle
can't,
it.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
it's how you're handling the mic.
Well, I don't hear the same
Yeah,
feedback
I can,
before. No, I don't mind that because it doesn't go through on the production. It's funny.
All
It only
right.
goes through on the speakers, so you're only annoying us. I don't care.
So anyway, next subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, that's some
Now we
some
got full
feedback.
feedback.
Yeah, that's some feedback.
There we go. It was just too loud on the speakers.
All right.
Just a little too loud on the speakers.
Do we move on to the next
Oh, yeah.
geographical?
Oh yeah. Let's move on. Let's
All
just
right,
go.
you guys
For the
choose
night?
Let's go right into the volcano
Greenland?
because it's the only thing that we have really. I think it's the number one thing on our mind tonight. Just if
No, I actually have Greenland on my mind too. I have
Hey,
some
Greenland's
like
on your mind,
opinions
like
about
Georgia?
Greenland.
All right.
Greenland,
No.
too.
Greenland.
What?
Greenland.
So, just
Yeah.
looking at the map,
Yeah.
right? looking at a world map.
Yeah.
Uh, to me, it makes perfect sense for the U.S. to need Greenland for national security because they are guarding themselves against, let's say, Russia, just for one. I don't think the China threat to Greenland as serious as the Russian one because the competition to the North Pole and those shipping lanes is going to be between the powers that have direct access to that area of the world.
What does?
Now, let me
Yeah.
finish. Denmark saying that it's not beneficial to the kingdom to do something like that. That's where deal making can maybe succeed in making it worthwhile,
What are the
making it
object? Well, no,
beneficial
hold on. Let's give
for.
some context here. What's the what is like the original intent of for what's the United States' original intent with Greenland? What do they want to do physically, like bricks and mortar? Do they want to put bases on it?
Rare earth
They
mining
can already do.
is a big thing,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah. There's definitely a ton of natural
So
resources there,
they just want like
but
first like prima norte over Greenland. They just want to basically, okay, Greenland's mine. We're going to make all the domestic policy decisions for Greenland, and that's that. Their government's going to be just like, a figurehead.
uh,
Like, what's the game here for the United States? I just want to know
Well,
what
I
are we
think
going to
Trump's
be
saying
doing
he's
to Greenland?
fearful of China and Russia having access or making deals, and he feels more comfortable owning it. But it sounds like Greenland's like, do whatever you want anyway, just don't own us. And so I don't know where the middle ground is. I really, I honestly don't think anything's going to happen. We're not going to do
So
anything.
we're going to mine,
I think
right?
it's wag the
And then
dog.
what else?
I think it's wag the dog.
From the Epstein files?
No, wag the dog's before. Well, is it? I guess it's about Epstein goes way back. So, but um, no, you know what? It's just an alternative story to
Yeah.
distract you from something else in the world. I don't think anything's going to come of it, personally.
Well, do you think that the administration's well, I mean,
I think it's a ruse.
you think it's a ruse? All right. What do you think about Greenland, dude?
I don't think it's a ruse.
What's the population of Greenland?
It's
Anybody
in
got
the
that?
We
hundreds of
could search.
thousands,
Yeah.
maybe
But that
300,000,
doesn't. It doesn't matter that because
400,000.
the Dutch I think are the main owners per
Well,
se.
didn't they
No,
give
no,
Isn't
us
it the
well,
Dutch?
we allowed them to
Denmark.
Denmark. Sorry,
yeah,
the other
Denmark.
D.
But wasn't
That's right.
the deal, or maybe the history of Greenland and the United States was that the Danish, Denmark?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a kingdom.
Yeah. Um Basically get Denmark or get Greenland, and we get their Virgin Islands here in the Caribbean.
I guess.
Because you only see the
But
British Virgin Islands, the U.S.
so
Virgin
so
Islands,
let me make it bigger.
and I think
If I'm
a
going to go
couple from
anywhere with
that
this
have
idea,
French
I'll
origin.
go here.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say it. Say New World Order. What does that look like? Well, here's one suggestion.
Russia, the United States,
The
and
Americas,
China.
and we have no dependency on the other side of the world. And have everything here. Venezuelan oil,
No dependence.
minerals from Greenland, trade
Oil
through
from
the Americas.
Canada?
So I don't know, just more resources closer,
No.
And we don't have to worry about big ships and big seas, Pacific or Atlantic on the other side of us.
Unfortunately, staying in this continent, though, that we're dealing with a dirty resource. We're dealing with heavy crude. It's not going to be that light stuff coming from Saudi Arabia. I mean, if you really wanted to do that, you keep everything Western Hemisphere. It's like we got Canadian Venezuela oil for the next 200 years.
Well, it's always about oil or resources, right?
Yeah.
or money, power. But going back to politics, it's like I like living in peacefully in the nation, but I feel like given the way the world and power and corruption is, you gotta pick someone to be the asshole for you. Because I don't want to be that asshole, but someone's got to be an asshole to defend yourself against other assholes of the world. There's a job for that, you know. So otherwise, someone's gonna be an asshole to you if you're just a peace loving thing. I mean, we did it to the Indians. You know, you take your pick of any example of someone that's not the asshole, and the asshole comes in and just kicks. So it's just, you know, you got to be a strong nation. You got to have strong areas, and so I think the imbalances of the world just now they're just getting pushed through all these other, the tech, quantum, crypto, you know, fiat currency or not, trade, precious metals. It's like space. There's so much competition in the world. It's I don't know, man. It's something's going to come to a. What does it look like to come to a conclusion? I mean, part of me is like, I don't think we could stay at peace because everyone's trying to fight for placement in new ranks. You know, uh, in the just in this world. I mean, China's been wanting to do that for decades. They've had their policies since the 90s. I remember with Benny, and here they are, huge. So, I don't know. I what are you guys' thoughts in general on
The
that type of?
Going back to your new world order, there is definitely a shift back to 19th century sort of division of powers. Where you have these major powers and their realm, right? So if the US is a major power, then the Western Hemisphere should be its backyard, right? And all of the old Soviet republics are, in a way, still in Russia's sphere of influence, and all of Southeast Asia, in a way, is going to be, under China's influence. But then where does that place some of the other relatively, you know, and upcoming powers like India, right? It's a big part of Asia, huge population, very educated, uh, lots of potential.
Largest English speaking population on Earth.
India.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Well,
I,
I mean,
I've had
not
nothing but
everybody
good
speaks
experience with
English
my
in
Indian
India.
counterparts.
And
But
there's a lot of languages in India.
don't drink the
Um,
water.
Oh, I mean, you know what? There are because some of the friends of mine that I worked with over the decades, Disney and whatnot, they got married, and but they were telling me part of the big ritual before that is that the parents and the families have to meet
Hmm.
because the high probability of them not being able to communicate with each other or get each other's cultures, is can be high. So there is different. Anyway, it is a big deal.
yeah, I don't know how we got to that, but yeah, they also have the caste
Well, we
system,
got there
so
just
they have to also
India.
be from the,
The same cast.
not the same, but there are castes that can not
That's what's
intermarry.
Okay.
crazy that, yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
you're born into your level. That's crazy.
uh, no,
Yeah.
back to Greenland if we want to
Yeah. No. No. Definitely Greenland.
finish it out.
Yeah.
What's the benefit to Denmark holding it? What is it?
National pride.
National pride?
Mm.
Well, like,
I thought always Denmark belonged to Denmark, or excuse me, Greenland belonged to Greenland. No, they got a flag. They got a government. Why do they need Denmark?
they are still a part of the Danish kingdom,
Hmm.
and their budgets are controlled by Denmark.
Does Denmark give them money?
I'm sure Denmark has to give them money because what is Greenland,
Hmm.
doing to make money
Okay.
to support itself? Maybe it makes enough money to just support itself at the current stage that it's in, right?
Hmm.
But with global warming, let's not fool ourselves,
Mhm.
you know, those shipping lanes are opening. And from a security perspective, when you think about where, let's say, nuclear weapons are located um, physically and where the ports are that you can have your nuclear submarines be stationed out of. If you draw a line between Russia and the US, Greenland just happens to be right in the middle. Our major ally in Europe with a nuclear weapon has their sole port where they have all their nuclear weapons at in Scotland, right? That's pretty much it. Like if that is taken out and there is no Greenland, then you could potentially have nuclear subs, Russian nuclear subs, right on the East Coast without us ever even knowing.
Hunt for October stuff right there.
Anyways, from a long-term security perspective, it
Mhm.
makes a whole lot of sense, at least to me.
At least to you, for
Uh,
national security purposes.
yeah,
All right.
the natural resources and how it's going to be exploited is
Mhm.
going to happen.
Yeah.
um, whether or not Greenland becomes a part of the U.S. or not,
Mhm.
right?
So are you for or against it?
I am not for taking Greenland by force. That's
Mhm.
for sure.
But by negotiation,
All right.
By negotiation, uh,
a deal.
if a deal was going to happen, uh, people will be more serious about actually sitting down and talking, but they're not, right? Europe's response was to send a whole bunch of forces. Germany and France just decided to join that force, European
So
force,
there's
to
UK, Germany,
station.
and France there now.
So
Because
it's
I know that
basically,
Yeah,
UK.
yeah,
it's like
they're
U.S.
sending a
versus
bunch of
NATO.
troops there just as a show, right?
War
Um,
games.
and it's taken a conversation further away from actually getting to sit down at a table to even talk about a deal. But the way it could realistically play out, at least in my opinion, is that Greenland, the majority of their population, actually prefers to be independent, not be even part of Denmark, and just declare their own sovereignty and be their own country, right? If they do that, and the chances of that are higher than the US somehow absorbing Greenland, then the US will absorb Greenland uh, financially, right? They'll have an army of NGOs and consultants and contractors and this and that go in there and pay people and influence parties and campaigns and people to advocate for just opening up the economy. And by opening up the economy and having these companies come in and do some of this work to create infrastructure to uh, put mining operations in place or build military bases or um, develop ports and things like that will eventually make Greenland beholden to whoever's making all those investments there, right? And that could just as easily be China or Russia in a different kind of world. But in the world that we live in, it's
Yeah.
going to be the US
I think
eventually.
China calls it the Belt and Road.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing that all over the world, right?
Yeah.
Um, Africa is a good example of that. Much of Asia,
Hmm.
right? They have projects like that in Pakistan.
Yeah, like these mega projects.
Um,
Power systems, telecommunications. Yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised if they have projects that are part of the Belt and Road
Yeah.
initiative in Iran.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
They either way they have um, a lot of investments in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
China does,
Mm-hmm.
and they also have a very large population there.
Mm-hmm.
And with all of the stuff that's going on in Iran, one of the things that's been curious for me is to see how China responds and how Chinese citizens are responding. Because, for one, the thing that I saw with my own eyes is that throughout the last 10, 20, 30 years, the population of Chinese people in Iran has just steadily grown.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've been back, I've seen more and more Chinese people, more and more Chinese products, more and more Chinese companies doing business in Iran. And by some estimate, there was like 45,000 Chinese people in Tehran that lived there. They weren't like business people or whatever. They, husband, wife, kids, and they speak fluent Farsi. I mean, they have a large investment in Iran in some ways, and they would stand to lose all of it if, let's say, maybe not all of it, but definitely they would lose um, all of those preferential oil contracts. Essentially, all of the oil that Iran produces pretty much goes to China, and they're buying it at a huge discount. Those discounts would definitely go away. Um, and a good number of Chinese families and business people and whatnot all exited the country in the last couple of weeks. Um, just the same way as a lot of other countries called on their citizens to leave, right? I think last week it was pretty much all of the Western countries, all the European countries, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, everybody, even the US announced, all of their citizens to leave Europe. Um, and
I'll tell you this. Out of all the guys to bring change to that country,
All right, shall we continue? It's been recording the whole time, but might
so
as well use the mics now.
Pahlavi, the one guy that I would expect to be for Iran to, at least in the cities, they probably would accept his leadership for a transitional government, and then step off the stage. And if he does step off the stage, even if the people were to say no, we want you to stay and, like, be a constitutional monarchy, and you should do it, blah blah blah. you know um if he says yes, then I'm like, oh great, here we go again. If he says no, then he would probably go down in history as someone who would be deserving of his own mausoleum with a guard of honor. you know um so
So just to get back on track here, because we
yeah,
were breaking there's a little thing, but
sure.
we're on to Iran,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. and
and
and Pahlavi would definitely be in that realm. Even though he's probably going to be buried in New York. I get it. His life is in America. His children's friends are in America. His friends are here in the United States. He's made a life here. What he's even said this himself. What do I have to do with Iran? At the end of the day, I'm going to do this transitional government thing. It seems to be the will of the people. This is, yes, this is my heritage. I am an HRH in this country, or I was, and I have immense, ties to this country. But at the end of the day, when he's living his day and day out and day out, or his day in and day out, it's here in the United States.
my son's asking to play the Nintendo that's right there. I'm like,
Oh, is the Switch in the dock?
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But he only plays it wired up to a TV.
Is that two? Is that a Switch
No,
two? Okay, it's a
no.
Switch one.
That should be its own topic one night. Tech, and
Yeah.
some of that shit. Steam
Any new
Deck's
tech
coming
you
out.
using?
We can.
Any new tech you using?
No, we don't talk about that tonight.
No.
Let's stay on topic. That'll
Stay
be
on Iran.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Corey, what's your take? Do you know
What's your
who
take on Pahlavi, dude?
Do you know who Pahlavi is?
I don't. That's where I was gonna
Oh,
like
let's
start
give him a history
scrolling, but I
lesson,
got
bro.
distracted
You
by
go
my.
ahead.
I do need a
Go,
history
go,
lesson.
go all the way
I
back,
kind
man.
of
Go all the way back.
jumped the gun a little bit to get to Pahlavi without talking about what's actually going on in Iran. But
Yeah.
real quick, Reza Pahlavi is the some people call him the rightful king.
Mhm.
That's on one end of the spectrum, and some people call him the former crown prince, if you want to be, exact, because
Sure.
he's not the crown prince to those people because there is no kingdom.
Right.
And how can you be a crown prince or a king when there is no kingdom?
Right.
Because the country, as it stands, is a republic, right?
Look
But anyway,
closer.
Reza Pahlavi is uh, the son of the former Shah
So
of
does
Iran.
the majority of the country agree to that? Like he's the rightful.
I wouldn't say the majority.
Yeah.
Like he's the rightful king or rightful. No, no, no.
So here's the thing.
I think he's just the right person for a transition. That's all they want from
The
him.
videos that we are seeing here, in a lot of them, people in the streets in Iran are calling his name.
Yeah.
Right? They're saying, "Long live the king," is one of the things that they say. One of the other things they say is that this is the last battle and Pahlavi is coming back. They like specifically name him or his family. There's multiple ones, right? In a bunch of them, people are calling his name, but all the flags being waved and posted and stuff like that, this is all outside of Iran. People in Iran, I don't think, are waving a whole lot of Pahlavi flags necessarily.
Right.
Because, I mean, who would be making it? The person who would be making it would be the first one they're going to find and execute on the spot.
So they're not like going into Grandpa's closet and stealing his own
No.
Pahlavi flag.
All of those
the lion and the sun.
are very well hidden, and
Yeah.
those are like people who hung on to them after the revolution.
Yeah.
Obviously risked their lives doing so, and or at least very very severe punishment.
Yeah. Were you there for the revolution?
Yeah, but I was 2 years old.
You're 2 years old.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
What do you
you for
remember?
Dating my ass. I was born
Yeah.
in 1355
Okay.
or 1976.
Okay.
And the revolution happened in 1979.
Right.
January.
Yeah.
So I was 2.5 years old
Okay.
or so. So obviously I don't remember
Yeah.
the revolution. And I don't remember, let's say, what was. But whatever was had not changed dramatically inside our home because I could not tell the difference between pre-revolution or post-revolution, like between being 1 year old or 2 years old or 3 years old or 4 years old or 5 years old. We're still playing the same music, and my parents listened to all kinds of Western music, Persian music, all of it banned after the revolution. But I mean, so did everybody else, right? Back then you had like tape decks.
Right.
And
you had a cassette.
Yeah, you had a cassette tape, and people would record different songs and
make it a mixtape.
Mixtapes, yeah. And they would just get around. Like people had all kinds of music playing out of their cars, even after the revolution, which was during the Iran-Iraq war.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now, how much? Okay, so the
I
Iran.
remember much more of the war
Yeah.
uh, growing up, and we left in '84 and came back in '85 and went back in '85 or '6. But
So and the war
besides the
lasted
point,
from 80 to 88, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But a lot of families left either right before or like right after the revolution,
Hmm.
and then a lot more left during '84, '85, '86. Those years, because those years were really, really rough during the war. There was basically direct missile strikes, Scud missiles that the Iraqis were launching on Tehran.
Scud missiles. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Since yeah.
um,
I remember that as a
Yeah.
kid.
uh, bombing runs, anti-air, sirens, people running into shelters and basements, and I remember a lot of the war.
Was that
How
But
how long would it take for those sirens to sound until the missiles hit?
I don't know, it's too
You're too young.
young.
Okay. All right.
For us kids, it was maybe not sinking into severity, just looking at, anti-air, it looked
Hmm.
like fireworks.
Sure, you can see the tracers.
Um, but seeing bodies
Hmm.
makes it pretty real, pretty quick. And
And you saw those bodies.
yeah, we lived on like this hill part of, you know, Tehran. There was an anti-air at the top of that hill,
Okay.
and we were maybe, I don't know, 10 buildings down from that area where that thing was. And multiple times they tried to hit it and they missed, and they hit a house, or a building that was like 4 buildings away from us. And
Mm.
one morning when we were, you know, going to school, we had to exit out of that street. And so I did see a lot. But anyway, um, the bodies I've seen just in the last 2 weeks is way crazier than what I experienced as a kid
Yeah.
from that war.
Yeah.
Um, Mind you, we moved away from Iran not because of the revolution, but because of the war. Because my brother was almost at the age of being drafted. He was 14, 13, 14, and at that point they had already run out of you know uh, soldiers or adults above 18. They were taking 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. They'd show up with a bus at a school and say, hey, all males. Well, actually back then all the schools were segregated anyway. So they would just show up to the boys' school and park the bus and say, hey, everybody who's, in ninth grade, get on the bus. 10th grade, get on the bus. We're going to the front lines.
Oh my God.
And that's it. Um, so before, that would happen, my dad got us to Germany. And then from Germany, we came here. Germany 84, San Diego 85, then back to Germany in 86 to 93, 94. And from 86, I didn't go back to Iran until 99.
Hmm.
But once I went back to Iran in 99, I pretty much went back every year, multiple times, until maybe 8 years ago. I haven't been back in a minute, but I did see a little bit of a progression in different directions. Obviously, the
Sure.
economy prices always
Yeah.
down. The currency always
I
in
mean, currently the currency
one
is
direction.
it's gone.
Just to throw it back at there, it's like I think you triggered a memory because I think one of the first things I ever met you is you're like, I just came from Germany. So I'm not sure if because I think I met you before you worked there,
Hmm.
and but then I came back and worked with you and met Kia and them. Anyway, just throw me back if it's really been that long, like 30 years, man. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's
keep
been
going.
30 years. No, well, I met so seven, like, yeah, dude, yeah,
Anyway,
Anyways, um,
so you're
he's
seeing changes.
yeah, and every time it's only gotten worse for
mm,
people who live there, right?
yeah.
The conditions have only gotten worse and worse and worse. And over the last, I don't know, maybe 5, 10 years, everybody that I talk to that comes and goes, and I still have relatives there. Um, keeps just saying that things are worse, right? Everything's getting more and more expensive, and the air is more and more polluted, and it's harder to get anything done. There is less and less jobs,
Yeah.
opportunity, and the situation has just become untenable. It's gotten to a point where it's everything is just unmanageable. Um, in a way, it's been a strike, like a general strike. I know Pahlavi called for, strikes with the energy sector and oil workers and transportation and this and that.
So
But
this was a general buildup of unrest until it just hit, you know, critical mass in the cities. I mean, when was was it Pahlavi who first called for general protests
no,
like this?
no.
So when did
So
this happen?
this round of
Yeah.
protests started December 28th, and they started with people closing their stores
Hmm.
out of protest in Tehran at the bazaar.
At the Grand Bazaar on
Yeah.
December 28th. Got it.
Um, it was a significant event in and of itself because they say that the revolution in 79,
Hmm.
also the spark of it was the Bazaris striking and protesting and joining the other voices of, dissent against the Shah,
Hmm.
which the voices against the Shah back then were all from the religious, uh, group anyway.
Right.
Uh, the mullahs that were really pushed out of politics in Iran
Hmm.
with Pahlavi's grandfather, Reza Shah, right?
Yeah.
Um, he really didn't think that religion and state should mix, and he really took away a lot of their rights and a lot of
And not just their rights, their power, right? He took away their power.
their power and their land.
Oh, and their land.
Oh, a lot of land.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and gave it to farmers and um, started modernizing the country.
So he
And
did a massive land reform.
he did a lot of things. I mean,
Okay.
he made so many changes to Iran
Hmm.
in the
So
process
he
of
modernized
modernizing
Iran.
it.
He was like,
He was like the Ataturk
okay,
of Iran,
okay,
right? Reza
okay,
Shah
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah,
the
sure.
guy who like
And
really
this is a guy again that
industrialized
has
Iran.
his own mausoleum in Turkey. You know, Muhammad Ataturk.
Um,
Somebody have a phone by Mike?
My phone's right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, no, we'll figure it out. S
Probably need new mics. I'm
No, no, no.
thinking
What?
clip-ons would probably be the best.
So I would say, and I would say, like, just my personal preference, table and mics like that, so that we can actually have a really like cool, like dynamic conversation about
I
things.
agree.
Yeah,
Little
because
mic stands that you could just
yeah,
angle and get closer.
yeah, just
Not
that's it.
not
Or
hold it the whole time.
the thing is, I think we have to revisit trying to do this at home, and even with our home cameras, that'll even seeing if
100%.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for the next episode.
I like that.
But anyway, back to Iran. So
This round of
yeah,
protests,
December 28th, the Bazaris closed their shop. They closed their shops at the Grand Bazaar in Tehran. And this
and
and this protest starts in Tehran, right?
it starts in Tehran, but it very quickly spreads to a lot of other cities
Right.
because the bazaar, being the commercial heart of
Mhm.
Iran, is also in a way the commercial heart of the whole country
Okay.
because all of the other bazaars, the major merchant, you know, uh, class within every other major city in Iran,
Yeah.
uh, essentially gets their goods from the central hub, the where everything is imported, the capital city,
Okay.
Tehran,
Okay.
right?
No, all right.
Everything comes to Tehran and then goes out to the provinces essentially,
Okay.
and all the other major cities.
So that's how it
So
works.
when the bazaar goes down
Yeah.
in Tehran,
Yeah.
it immediately affects the bazaars in Tabriz, in Mashhad, in Shiraz, in Esfahan, and it very quickly spread to those. And it immediately became not just about closing your store and marching down the street, but marching down the street with slogans against the whole system, not uh, with a specific demand like the dollar is too expensive, or meat prices are too high, or why is there no water in the pipes, or why do
Hmm.
we have electrical outages, or you know so many, there's 1,000 complaints, right? There is not any chant about a specific complaint or a specific demand for a specific change in policy anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. The calls are against the entire system.
Hmm. Too bad we can't get the cat in the shop. you know,
Yeah, I was thinking that right before. That's
right,
funny.
dude? Having a cat
She'll
in the
come
shop.
down in a
That's
second.
that's legitimacy for one demographic right there.
Yeah,
Anyway.
cat camp.
What's interesting about
She's
everything
coming
that's
down.
going on is that even the government
Hmm.
officials in Iran
Hmm.
have, for quite some time, conceded the fact that they don't have any solutions. Let's say this bloody, crackdown on the protesters or terrorists, as the government officials are calling them, uh, is so effective that not a single person comes out of their house anymore to protest,
Hmm.
right? And within a matter of time, everything in a way has to go back to normal. People have to get in their cars and go to work. See, now you talked about the cat and
Yeah.
wants to be in the shot.
Right. Human.
We're just saying hi.
This one belongs to me.
Cute kitty. Um,
Beautiful coat.
Coco.
Yeah. Hello, Coco. Hey, Coco.
so
Yeah, you'll
Very cool.
remember now.
Oh.
let's say nobody protests
Yeah. Yeah, let's say they,
tomorrow,
they get the technicals do their job.
which from what I've
Ugh.
heard and seen, people are still out in the streets in
Oh, that's
multiple
awesome.
parts of a lot of the major cities
Uh-huh.
because I mean they're big. There's millions of people that live in those cities, and you cannot shoot everybody. You can't kill everybody. You
Yeah.
know, you can't kill that many, even though they've been pretty efficient at it. Um, even if nobody comes out, none of those problems go away,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Inflation is still what it is and only getting worse because these guys still have to pay the bills, even if there isn't money coming in, which means just printing more money, which is hyperinflation,
Yeah.
right? Um, that's where we're headed. There aren't any more jobs being created. There isn't any more investment coming in. You know, any investment that was even in flight, even from the Chinese, is probably on hold by
Mm-hmm.
now. So just looking at all the different rounds of unrest that we've had in Iran, the frequency is increased, right? Um, we've had we've had even demonstrations during wartime, believe it or not. Between 80 and 88, there were still protests, right? With different demands. But they got very serious. I think probably the biggest. See now, Coco's full in the shot. Hey, Coco. Um, so
She's burned.
yeah, you want to come over here, or you want to just talk on the mic?
She's not shy. She's
She's like, which one's more comfortable? Which human belongs to
good
me now?
girl.
You know, all I think about is when a cat does this kind of thing is that Netflix special like Love Death and
Listen.
Robots or something like that. You know, have you seen that show where the cat's like, this one belongs to me, these two belong to me, you know? And
I've seen that one.
I haven't
That
seen
was good.
ah, yes, robot, you will help me take over the world. You know?
I think I have a short.
No, dude, that one was awesome. That one was awesome. But anyway, thank you, Coco.
Are there cool cats in Iran?
So if they actually go through with it and stop the protests entirely and make people stop, going outside and basically making things how they were, um, pre-December 28th.
So it says here,
Yeah.
you know, Amnesty and other, say, security forces carried out a coordinated nationwide violent crackdown January 8th and 9th,
Well,
killing large number of peaceful protesters. Um,
let's look at the economy. So if you
Dude,
basically see what's happening right now with the Iranian rial, if you go to Google and go to dollar to rial, comparison or whatever it is, you're going to find out that the rial is gone.
yeah, it got devalued
Yeah,
big time.
it's just gone. So what does it matter at this point? When you rely so much on imports as a country, and yeah, sure, you do have a lot of exports, which brings us to the next
Well,
question is
well,
where are these people getting the money?
well. I want to go back to the grimace face you had
Yeah.
on one of the comments, Petty. So,
um,
was it the number or something up there? Was it one? Was it some of this data that you
uh,
talked
You know,
about?
what's the date today?
the 16th,
15th.
15th? Oh shit, yeah, it's the 15th.
Fif-
All right, June 15th.
Uh,
January.
this
June. January.
all
No,
of
help
this
me out on it.
all of this round started December 28th.
Yeah,
That's a lot more
long
days.
time.
That's a lot more days than a violent crackdown on 8th and 9th of January. That's his list, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
from
they
day
they
one.
they Corey they wait, has the IRGC and the capacity to the police basically have they carried out a nationwide violent crackdown, um before January 8th and January 9th? Before January 8th?
That's what I was about to say.
Go for it.
Is that from day one,
The
the
28th.
videos that were released from what was going on in the bazaar
Yeah.
in Tehran on day one have tear gas being shot at people,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
From day two, maybe, I've seen videos of the, crowd control Basij guys shooting pellets. Like they're shotguns, they're, pumping them and just shooting indiscriminately at people that are standing there and just shouting, like peaceful protesters, right? Um, so it was violent from day one, not just this time around, but especially last time. Last time around in 2022 with the Masa Amini, you remember hearing that name, Corey?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this Kurdish lady was visiting Tehran, was arrested for not wearing her hijab properly, and she was arrested and she died in custody. And it launched a huge protest in Iran. Corey, is this just laughing at the cat, or like does any of what
Well,
I'm
she's
talking
eating
about
bread on his junk, and she's got her
familiar?
butt in your face.
Yeah,
That's just
I
funny
think
from my angle.
she's in heat, bro.
No, she's
We
trying.
need
She's
to get
just trying
her
to rest.
playing.
She's just trying to go to sleep.
Uh,
She's just trying to find a nice warm place to go to sleep, like the computer monitor.
no,
But
she
we don't
woke
have.
up from her sleep.
Oh, really? She got up?
Yeah. She just wanted to get some pets.
Oh, that's sweet. No, no, my wife's allergic to cats, so I got to keep my hands off.
She gets some pets, get some food, then go on the prowl.
Oh, that's nice.
That's all. It-
So Masa Amini writes, so she gets arrested for not wearing a
Oh,
head
that's in here
covering.
too, the
Right,
hijab
and they
thing.
cracked down hard after that, and
Yeah.
they killed and arrested a lot of people, and shooting
So
those
why did they do that?
pellets
Why did they
and
do that during the Green Movement?
That's so weird.
Me? Who is it?
Oh, maybe it just needs to be jiggled like the fawns.
All right.
I don't know. It's weird.
So okay, so compared to the Green Movement, why was the Massamini movement basically put down so violently, or at least swiftly, in compared to the Green Movement, which was previous before
that
that.
was also violently cracked
That
down
that was
on.
put down violently?
You don't remember?
No, not as much as Massamini, man. Massamini was pretty scorching. I don't remember like the 2008 Green Movement. I just remember then. Okay, you know what was happening? Guess what happened during the 2000 like the Green Movement?
What?
Michael Jackson died.
And that took the attention away. Oh my
I
God.
was at his place, all right, watching the movement on TV. All right, and all of a sudden we cut to breaking news: Michael Jackson has died.
Wow.
You know, and that was it.
No more airing.
Oh, dude, the only thing that came out of my mouth was, I can't believe it. Ahmadinejad found a way to kill Michael Jackson and get the news cycle away from Iran, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened because, Michael, so there was a crackdown in the Green Movement as well.
There was, and then in 2019, there was a increase in gas prices, which caused another round of a lot of protests.
Hmm.
And that one is where I think the number of people killed was pretty high. Obviously, the number of killed for the woman life freedom movement, Masa Amini, was high hundreds or maybe a few thousand.
Mm.
Who knows? Because when people are killed um, in these protests and uprisings, and really this one that feels and has all of the hallmarks of a revolution. Um, uh, the narrative about the number of killed, is always spun into something. Uh, I'm sure that there are people that were killed that were not ever tracked, right? Counted. And even now, as these people are being literally just gunned down, right? The order has been shoot to kill, and they're using live bullets. It's not pellets, you know, when they strike and they strike a major organ, that's it.
So if I understand it correctly, if you're on the streets and you're not an officer, you're to be shot.
Pretty much. The latest videos, some of them that I've seen of the city um, having turned into like a military occupation. It looks it's de facto martial law. If you are out in the streets, you better have a very very good reason and like a destination to go to. But if you're just hanging out, you're gonna get shot at. Like there's people out in the street with guns, and first thing they do is shoot. Shoot first, ask questions. The numbers are crazy, right? The few numbers that I've seen of 2,500 confirmed or estimates of 12,000, both of them in a way are plausible. And if you, because of the videos of what you see and like how they're shooting at people, right? Um, Shooting into crowds.
So
Uh,
I
there's
have a
been too many
question.
videos of direct documentation of somebody pulling the trigger and you see the crowd. When you calculate backwards of okay, this span of time and how many deaths, it's crazy. It comes out to something like a person being shot every 20 seconds for it to be something like a figure of 12,000 or 20,000. And even if it's 10 times less than that, it's still something crazy that in a country there is somebody being shot, and these are all terrorists, these are all foreign agents. um, Everybody in Iran, and hopefully a lot of people outside of Iran, know that that's bullshit. That's completely.
So
This
that
isn't an isolated event. This isn't a Israeli plot. Basically, people who are calling it a Israeli or American plot
Yeah, something like the Mossad
are
was
are
involved.
taking away agency from all of those people in Iran who are actually protesting against things that they want to change
let's take it
completely.
up one level. I've been waiting for this question, and you gave me a way to connect it. So when you say, all these people getting killed and there's this huge uprising, in Iran, You also said earlier that there's a big influx of Chinese, but we also know that there's Russian ties and India ties, or I don't know how India relationship is, but anyway, Russia and China for sure. There's AI and tech and other things that are being used against the citizens. So it makes me wonder what percentage are pure citizens or not in this whole revolution, because maybe all the Chinese stay at home and they're not out in the streets protesting. Maybe they are. I have no idea.
Well, it it
What?
would be one thing. It would
So,
be one
well,
thing if China actually issued, an evacuation
no,
order,
for
for their
example,
people,
in
like the State
America,
Department did a couple of days ago.
in America, if there's some sort of riot, we kind of break down the demographics in a way that black people, white people, what, mix Antifa looking, and I'm sure there's demographics in the protest, not just hijab, but the males and whatnot. And if you're saying that there's a good number of Chinese people living there, who knows if some of them are protesting alongside?
No.
Yeah, I
Okay,
would be, dude. I'm waiting for when I see an order
I'm
for
curious. I don't
Chinese
know.
I wouldn't be
nationals.
surprised if like a few are out there,
Yeah,
right?
but they've been
Because
told,
they
let's get out of
So
town, dude.
these
Shit's
these are
going down.
natural born, you know, pure Iranian root people that are in the uprising.
um pure Iranian is a misnomer in a way, right? There is people in the east, just ethnically speaking, in Iran, just from like a genetic standpoint, Iran is one of the most diverse countries in the world, naturally, just naturally, because in the very east of Iran, you have people who completely look Asian, right? They basically look like uh, people from Mongolia or from China, like Han Chinese
Yoiger.
genetic descent,
Yeah.
right? We had a very famous soccer player, Azizi, way back in the day, who was amazing, amazing. He was from the east of Iran, the Mashhad area, which is close to the border of Afghanistan, and to the north, Turkmenistan, and people there genetically are much closer to people from Mongolia, right? They look fully Asian. They look fully like you know, for lack of a better way to describe it, Chinese. They look Chinese. That's what people in Iran call them, right? But they are natural born Iranian citizens. Like their only language is Farsi. They were born there. Their mom is Iranian. Their dad is Iranian because Iran, going back thousands of years, has always encompassed so many different ethnic groups. In the south of Iran, we have people who are black, dude, like African, but they are Persian, not Persian, well, Iranian, right? They're Iranian. They're and have been
Yeah.
for centuries or thousands of
I'm
years.
realizing you talk with your hands a lot and hold the mic is like hard.
It is. It is. I need like a mic stand, and then or like one of those
That's
drop
why he
downs.
needs he
I
needs a
think I
mic
have one of
stand
the
like right
clips in
there.
there I can get. That could probably help, but still,
So
too late.
Yeah.
north of Iran, you have
I see.
blonde hair, blue eyes, like
So answering
Swedish
my
looking
question means that there's a
motherfuckers.
mix,
Hmm.
throughout Iran, and so yeah, so
Huge. And
so there's a national pride that's the national
this is
pride.
the thing. Even people in Iran who all look Persian, like white, whatever, are of multiple ethnic descents. You
Hmm.
have the Kurds, you have the Baluchs, you have the Turks, you have the Azeris, you have the uh, Lors, you have the you have so many different tribes, let's say, right, or ethnic groups. But one of the things that has always come first is Iranian and then Turk, Iranian, then Kurd, Iranian, then Lur, Iranian, then something else, right? That's the major difference between, let's say, Iran and Syria. A lot of people describe what's going on right now and compare it to Syria, and they're like, okay, if we attack or like these protests get really out of hand, what are the chances of a civil war, right? Some armed factions like the Kurds, they have a much bigger gun culture, right? Like they have more access to guns because they've lived right on the border of a war zone for a long time, and like anything can be smuggled across those borders. A lot of the alcohol, guns, drugs, all the illegal stuff, it all flows through that Iran-Iraq, Iran-Turkey, Iraq-Turkey border, that
Right, right.
tri-border area, as well as all the stuff that goes back and forth between the border of Pakistan and Iran, or Afghanistan and Iran. Those provinces that border those areas naturally will have more guns. So in these protests and uprisings, there's been naturally a lot more armed confrontations on both sides, right? And some of those cities, still to this day, I think this morning when I was looking at the news, are still declared at this point liberated by certain news outlets. And obviously, if I was looking at the news outlets from inside Iran,
Hmm.
I'm sure they'd be saying, "Oh, everything's cool. it's all
So
it's all calm. It's all propaganda."
so where are these? Well, which provinces have been called liberated, and by who? Someone declared them liberated,
A bunch of cities even have been declared, like Mashhad.
like by their populace. We're
Mashhad
done.
at some point was declared like liberated a couple of times. Shiraz was, Bandar Abbas
Got some
was for a
claws in that
little
one.
while.
Oh yeah.
These are
Untrimmed.
some like major cities in.
Hmm.
Can you get your tail out of my face?
right there, cat.
She's not afraid to use her claws either.
I'm not
Um,
having you on me, honey. My wife is allergic. I'm sorry.
um, so anyway, the going back to my original, gripe with the description of the events now that they've gone more than 2 weeks,
Hmm.
uh, is being, pulled in every direction by at least people who are talking about it here, right? I think the Iranian diaspora outside of Iran has done enough of a good job to spread the word enough that there almost isn't anybody who hasn't heard about the protests or killing or something going on in Iran,
Yeah.
right? Pretty much almost everyone's made aware of what's going on there. Again, for the, I don't know how many time, but the reason why it's even more in people's faces now, this time
Hmm.
around, is also because of the fact that the frequency is increasing. We went from 2009 to 2015, 15 to 22. These are just the major
Hey,
events.
random director's tip. I think the difference between you and Henry and you guys, they held it closer to the tip and not around the base. Just humor me for real quick and see if that changes anything. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't rattle as much.
Well, I
That's
think
for
the bottom
sure.
receiver might need some openness. I don't know. Anyway,
Uh,
let's just
I mean,
see if we get feedback. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
um, from what I've seen from day one, it's been violent. It's been uh, demands and slogans and stuff being shouted by crowds of regular people. Doesn't look all that manufactured. Um, like, the way, let's say, the 1953 coup went down. That is now like documented
Hmm.
that, people showed up with suitcases of money, paid some thugs, and had them go march down the street and shout some slogans and pretend like there's this big protest when there really wasn't, to go and arrest the democratically elected prime minister at the time of Iran, who people had voted for over the Shah, right? He had deposed the Shah, and this guy that was democratically elected, Mossadegh, he uh, nationalized oil. The British didn't like it. They complained to the Americans and asked the Americans for help to overthrow Mossadegh and reinstall the Shah. Um, and the way
Is that the Iran Contra scandal stuff?
No. That's
no, it's
much
way
later.
before.
Oh.
Yeah, the Iran Contra stuff comes during the Iran-Iraq War after the revolution. Um, essentially, the accusation since then, because the US at some point admitted to the fact that they did orchestrate that coup to depose a democratically elected leader and reinstall the Shah, it was also one of the major reasons why the revolution happened in 79, because people said, hey, this guy's a puppet. He's a puppet of the US, and people want something else. They don't want a monarchy, they want a republic. And those protests were real protests because there's millions of people in the street being fooled in a way, or fooling themselves essentially, that they're going to get rid of an absolute monarch, right? um, I don't actually know what the system of government in Iran was right before the revolution. Was it an absolute monarchy or was it a constitutional monarchy? Because a constitutional monarchy, if it's anything like England, then the monarch doesn't really
Figurehead.
exercise,
It's a
any
figurehead.
political
Parliament
power.
and the House of Lords, the upper house and the lower house have all the power.
Whereas really in Iran, effectively, all the way up until the revolution, the king had the final say on anything and everything, right? So in a
Is it
sense,
kind of like Thailand?
I don't know if, let's say on paper it was a constitutional monarchy, but in practice,
Hereditary monarchy, according to
yeah, but
Perplexity.
hereditary monarchy,
Structured as a constitutional monarchy.
They still had a constitution and they had a parliament,
on paper, but
the
functioning
parliament
as an
was essentially
authoritarian royal regime in practice.
the parliament was essentially
wait.
fake.
See right there, the Shah concentrated power and ruled in an authoritarian, highly centralized way with limited political pluralism.
Exactly. I mean, there was a secret police, the Savak. The Savak was trained by the CIA.
But didn't they?
But kidnapped people off the street. People disappeared. A lot of people were jailed.
How many people? How many people is Savak? Responsible for basically murdering.
Well, that's the thing. You ask a question like that, and what are the sources that thing pulls up to make that estimate? Because I'm sure if you ask the Islamic Republic of Iran, they're going to have a very, very large figure, right?
Sure.
And if you ask the Pahlavi supporters today, how many people the Savak had killed, they might get a much lower number.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way that if you watch Iran International right now, they'll say at least 12,000 people or maybe up to 20,000 people have died. But then when you look at, let's say, Harana or,
VAK, yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, let's
Short
do.
answer for your audience is that there's no single agreed number. Different sources give very different estimates for how many people Savak killed, ranging from a few hundred documented cases to regime or opposition claims of thousands. Um, so it looks like,
What's the highest? What's the highest estimate by the,
yeah, what's the highest
you
estimate for
know,
the amount of people that, died in
the people who
Savak,
were most
custody?
opposed to the Shah? Which, I mean, one of the parties that is most opposed to the Shah, even to this day, is the Mujahideen Khalq, the
MEK?
MEK,
Mm-hmm.
who were recently in the news because they rammed that U-Haul truck into the protesters. Did you see that?
Oh, that guy was part of the MEK. Yeah, that was in LA.
Well,
I had a couple of friends who were in the crowd. One of them was there, like right in
wow.
front of the truck, and he said for sure this guy was MK. I don't know what he based that on, but um, obviously he had some signs on the
So
U-Haul
wait,
truck.
MEK is what connected to Iran? How?
MK is got a lot of history in Iran. So uh, the Soviets have a lot of history in Iran, and there was a socialist party before the revolution called Tude, and these Tude people were one of the groups that was targeted by Savak. Um, they made a deal essentially with the religious group.
Is this right?
Yeah, People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran. So these guys are not well liked at all in Iran, inside of Iran. They're like a cult, dude. Like they're nuts. Uh, their history, their leadership, everything. Like when you read into it, they are nuts.
So remind
But
me,
they,
the Shah is a good guy. Is the puppet, right?
the Shah's the puppet.
That you were talking about, the puppet of the U.S.
I
or
mean,
no?
some people call them that.
Okay, I don't know if he's good or bad, but he was the king.
He was the king.
Okay, and this is his brute force.
No, no. These guys were totally against the Shah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the opposite. Okay, okay.
Read the second
Right?
bullet
Revolutionary.
under
They
number
were
two.
they were one of the centers of
I misread that.
resistance
Okay,
Many
in
of
okay.
its members were
protests and
arrested,
whatnot.
tortured, or executed by Savak in the 1970s, which boosted their revolutionary reputation among parts of the Iranian opposition.
They were revolutionaries,
Yeah.
Got it.
violent ones. They, bombed stuff. They burned down this movie theater Rex that
This
is
is like
very
FARC,
famous.
I guess, or
Um,
something like that. Like the South American equivalent would be what? No, maybe it's not FARC.
I don't know.
Maybe it's
I
something else.
don't. I wouldn't compare them to FARC. FARC is something else.
Mm.
Their FARC's connection to drugs and uh, the cocaine labs and whatnot is a
I see
whole
Saddam
different
Hussein on there.
animal. Yeah. So uh, these fuckers, um, Mujahideen,
Oh my God.
they supported they supported Saddam Hussein and Iraq during the Iran-Iraq War. Um,
So they're like traitors to Iran.
yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of people look at them as traitors, but even before
Guys,
they were
bad guys.
traitors, even before that, they were terrorists. Um, they're led by a cult figure. And if I mean, you could do a couple of podcast episodes just on the leadership and how fucked up these motherfuckers are. But anyway, they are still to this day around, and they are anti-monarchists, right? They hate the monarchists, and the monarchists hate them. But they basically um, were born out of the communist movement and the communist group Tudeh before the revolution. They made a deal with the Ayatollahs to get rid of the Shah, and when they did, the Ayatollahs turned on them and arrested a whole bunch of them and executed a whole bunch of them, and the rest went over to Saddam Hussein's side and convinced him that, hey, these guys are weak. This is the time to attack. And everybody else apparently in the West also agreed that, hey, we don't like this guy. He went and took all those hostages at the American embassy, and like we thought this guy was going to be like Gandhi. He was going to go in there talking about Khomeini. When the Shah left and Khomeini came to Iran, essentially it was done with the tacit support of the Western governments, right? Khomeini was based in France, and he was doing all of his, last couple of years of resistance outside of Iran. The way Pahlavi is doing today, he's being the, face of the resistance, the leader of a movement to oust the current regime. Khomeini was in Paris. Um,
Oh, it's me.
the Shah leaves 2 weeks later. Khomeini lands in Iran, and this revolution moves forward. um, because I think the U.S. just was not well informed enough about who this guy is, or maybe they were and they let it happen because it was to their benefit. Um,
One thing I wonder is the discontinuity of agenda with presidents. I think the coming and going of presidents could be a mishandling of foreign affairs in itself.
I don't think so. I think the the machinery is so much more robust, and the goals are so much more set with the military industrial complex that um, change in administration, or hand over from Democrat to Republican, is still steering the ship in the same direction. It's just that maybe some of the maneuvers are a little bit different. Um, and the decision making, obviously, the decision making with this administration is a little bit more drastic than the reactions by some of the other administrations. This Maduro thing is definitely a paradigm shift in a way when it comes to how other countries are now going to behave. You know, it was an unprecedented thing, and it will not remain so. Um, but in a way, one action begets another, right? Russia decides, hey, I'm just going to go and invade Ukraine and take it over because I want it for my national security, for its resources,
Right.
whatever. And then, the US battles it for a little while. If you look at just the major powers struggle, right? And eventually, like, hey, well, we can't fucking end the war in Ukraine. This guy's gonna pretty much take it at the end of the day, or at least that's where Trump is steering this thing, right? He was asked yesterday, he's like, "What's the holdup with the Russia-Ukraine war?" And in one word, he's like, "Zelensky." He's like, "Putin is ready to make a deal. It's Zelensky that's holding this thing up." And pretty much since day one, Trump's line about making peace is, hey, let's just go with everything that Russia demands, and Ukraine's just going to have to eat it up because Russia is more powerful. And he told them so in the White House, right? He's like, dude, you're messing with World War III. You're messing with this and that, because he's looking at it from a major powers sort of point of view. He's like, this is the limit of our support,
Thanks,
right?
RJ.
This is the limit to our support. Uh, we've supported you with this many billions of dollars, and we're not gonna put troops on the ground. We're not gonna put tanks on the ground to go and fight the Russians for you. But we'll give you the weapons or whatever, and at this point, you have to pay for them. Um, but he's not able to end that war, right? And he's basically conceded Ukraine. But he's like, okay, so if this is a chessboard, you're gonna take this piece. I want to go take Venezuela real quick, and nobody saw that one coming. I mean, obviously there was a lot of drums of war against Venezuela from day one when he, came into office, but it
But
heated up really quickly. Like the last 2 weeks before he went and got Maduro, it was all over the news that like there's a war about to break out. There's a aircraft carrier parked, up front, and all these ships moving out there, and all these planes moving out there. They're getting ready to do something. Um, and he did go take it, and it's a big, geopolitical chess piece to take off the board and say, I'm gonna now control Venezuela. No more, Russian ships coming and going from here, or oil coming and going from
in
here.
China,
No China, no Hezbollah, right? Venezuela was part of this axis of resistance, right? If you want to call it that. These other powers that are all trying to group up, gang up, so that they can not be bullied individually by the US. And one of the biggest things that they've all been trying to do together for the past few years, which was an effort that was almost about to come to fruition essentially and is completely being buried in the news, is the fact that they're trying to get away from the dollar. They're trying to replace the dollar as the currency for the transactions worldwide. And once they make that shift, um, the dollar is going to lose a lot of its power economically in the world.
but what's the new
And
base if not the
Well,
dollar?
because they're going to move away from the SWIFT protocol of transferring money.
I thought that's what crypto's going to do to Swift.
no, no,
No, no, we'll see. Crypto right now is we'll see. Because it's either you have enough of it to make a profit out of it, or you don't.
Well, you need a base currency to have some sort of
Um,
trade.
right, because isn't crypto on itself, has to be weighed against something else? And what else is there but the dollar?
basically, guys, as all currencies worldwide um, appreciate or depreciate, they are still used to trade with, to buy mostly commodities,
Hmm.
right? This is why um, these conflicts right now are raging, because they're all centered around natural resources,
Sure.
right? Whether it's, you know, rare earth minerals in Greenland, or it's oil in Venezuela, or, oil and gas and minerals in Iran. Iran's got a lot of shit too. Um, the currency that they're going to essentially replace this thing with, you're right. It's part of it has to be based on something, and obviously they want it to be based on the yuan. The Chinese currency is going to be it, because China wants to still be the factory of the world, right? They want to still produce everything for everybody and have everybody be dependent on Chinese manufacturing and products. And they will have enough of a local consumer base to put the US to shame if people were consuming anywhere to the same levels as, we are in the US. They're still not even close to that level yet, but just in terms of population and their combined with this axis of resistance, their combined hold on natural resources and trading between it, as long as the volumes are high enough, then the currency will remain stable enough because it's being traded against barrels of oil and not like chump chain barrels of oil, but a substantial portion of the entire global market. And so it's still measured against, let's say, oil that's bought in dollars, right? But they're not using dollars anymore. They're using their own currency. And they have large enough of a block of countries doing so outside of the US financial system, which basically would erase all of the controls and all the power that the US has financially all over the world, right? Our might, our power stems so much more from our economical might than it does from our military, even though our military spending is, dwarfs everybody else's. Like you put the top 10 other countries together and their defense budget might match ours.
That's because we have a $10,000 hammer. But go ahead.
That's true too. The budget numbers are inflated. So yes, a country like China may spend a tenth of what we do on defense, but they might not have $10,000 hammers because their corruption, takes a different form or shape.
Well, I think one of the things I heard about the requirements of their factories is that they have to be military ready and be able to flip into that gear besides just doing their own stuff. You know, Uh, one of the things I heard.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Anyhow, taking these chess pieces essentially away from China and Russia is the larger like geopolitical picture to look at when you look at what's happening overall in the world, right? Russia says, "Fuck you guys. I want to take Ukraine today, and tomorrow, if I don't like what Belarus is doing, I'm gonna fucking take those guys out too. Monrovia, they're like a little dot. I'll take that in a week. If I can take a country as big as Ukraine, with essentially Russia isn't like fighting Ukraine. Russia is fighting Ukraine plus Great Britain plus France plus the US. But like Russia's really fighting all of these other countries right now, right? Indirectly. Um, but Ukraine wouldn't have survived more than a week without the support of the West. And everybody knows it, right? Day one, when Russia invaded, everyone thought, oh, these guys are going to be done within a week. But they weren't because they had the intel from day one. The US gave them the intel from day one. This is where these guys are coming in from. This is where you need to fucking strike to make sure they don't make it to Kiev. Um, but beyond just support, they're not able to stop Russia. Uh, Russia is a much, much bigger power. It's got a lot more military might, and it's got a lot of support
I thought
from
they were running
China,
out of
from
money and
Iran.
stuff. I thought their economy and things are stressed.
Their
Mm,
economy's been stressed for
yeah,
years. But when you have a dictatorship
you're a gas station.
and a kleptocracy and an oligarchy, you're gonna survive it. Because who cares how many people at the bottom of the pyramid are dying, as long as the leadership in the top and the brass is getting their checks and making enough missiles. Iran's people are fucking starving. They have been for years, right? There's no more water. There's no electricity. There are no jobs. There's no this. There's no that. There's plenty of fucking missiles, though,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Why hasn't the U.S. attacked Iran yet? even though Trump said if there is one protester that's going to get killed, you shoot, we shoot.
So you think he should?
I don't know about he should or he shouldn't. I know that um, the people who are warning him against doing it, right? The voices of caution, they are cautioning against it because Iran still does have missiles to launch.
Mm-hmm.
But the missile launch is a suicide move, right? Let's say they launch a barrage at Israel. Israel's itching for it. They are, first of all, they didn't finish the job in that 12-day war. So they still have a list of targets that everybody knows about, right? That they still want to take out. And they're just waiting for the chance. The US basically forced Israel to stop, right? Because the US dropped 16 bombs, those bunker busters, and they said, hey, the nuclear installations are destroyed, their nuclear capabilities are gone, obliterated, and we're done here, right? And made sure that Israel would stop. Obviously, the moment they announced it, they said, okay, you have until this hour to, finish up. And boy, did they try to finish up. I mean, Israel launched, I think, more missiles between the time when Trump announced that, hey, we obliterated the nuclear thing and it's done, and the time they had to actually stop. They launched, I think, more missiles than they ever had during the 12 days.
Mm.
Right? I mean, they try to go after as many targets as possible before finishing this thing out, just to give themselves a longer of a window, because they didn't replace the regime
Yeah.
and they knew that there will be another round,
Yeah.
right? So they're just waiting to kind of finish the job. In a way, what people are calling the protests in Iran to be, influenced by Israel or the US or whatever. I'm sure there's some Mossad on the ground in Iran, and I'm sure this is in a way an extension of that war, but this does not make it not true that the people on the street are like puppets, right? That this is a foreign influence thing and everything is, fine and dandy in Iran. If it wasn't for these terrorists infiltrating the country, it's not terrorists. When you look at the video of, 25,000 people marching on this one street corner, you tell me like all of these people are either brainwashed by, the Mossad and the CIA, or um, every video that we've seen with these huge crowds is all AI, this is all fake, or I mean,
Did the
because you
Shah
make
did
the
the Shah
narrative.
when in 1979 did the Shah receive crowds like this size, or is what's happening now a lot bigger than what happened back then?
No, what happened back then? Um, the crowd sizes when the revolution really happened
Mm-hmm.
and the Shah
79.
left
Yeah.
was crazy. I mean, a sea of people when you look at the historical photographs and whatnot.
Mm.
Um, and the Green Revolution or the Green Movement or whatever, the crowd sizes were pretty big back then. Um, before they violently cracked down, like on 1 or 2 days, people did get out en masse like that, and um, the pictures and video and stuff from that Green Movement are pretty incredible because a lot of those protests also took place during the day, and all of the major crowds basically when the streets exploded was that date that um, the AI bot put on the screen. January 8, January 9 were the 2 days that Reza Pahlavi called people out onto the street.
Yeah,
He
8 and
said
9th.
8
Yeah.
p.m. on January 8th and January 9th. And January 8th, the videos that I saw, unbelievable. Like places in Tehran that I know really, really well. Um, Places where I grew up as a kid. Like I know those streets, I know the buildings. You can show me a tiny glimpse of a video, and I will recognize, which side of the street the guy was standing on when he took that video.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sea of people. Unbelievable, like how many people were out in the street, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands. And that night, if you add up the numbers between all of the major cities and all of the provinces, you probably had millions of people out on the street on a scale of, the 1979 revolution, maybe, right? And if people weren't shooting at them, which they were shooting at them before January 8th. They were shooting at them either December 28th or December 29th already,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, they've been shooting at them throughout this round. They've been shooting at them throughout last round. They've been shooting at them throughout the round before in 2019
Mm-hmm.
when the gas prices went up.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, they shot a lot of people also um,
Excuse me.
around the green movement. But each time, the number
Mm-hmm.
of deaths has gone up, and the time period in which these people have been killed has shortened. They've killed many more people in a much shorter amount of time, which just speaks to the level of brutality, right? I mean, they are just having to go so much harder against their own people
Mm.
each round
Yeah.
because
It
people are
gets deadlier.
unafraid.
Yeah, it gets
Well,
deadlier, and people are
in
just
Farsi they
go
say
ahead.
میگن ترسشون ریخته یعنی their fear has dissipated,
Mm-hmm.
has dropped, all right. um and it's a new generation, this like young generation. A lot of the people who were shot out of this number of 2,500 people or 12,000 people, from yesterday, a lot of them are under 18. Is one of the things maybe that's not being fully like focused on, is that a lot of them are children by definition. They're not adults,
Yeah.
right? This is a generation that's basically grown up with a phone in their hands. They've grown up with information at their fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
They are super well informed. They are well connected to the rest of the world, and they have no fear of fighting for what everybody else seems to have, like normal shit that they cannot have,
Yeah.
right? That is illegal. Um, in between the woman life freedom movement and this round from 2022 to 2026, there's been multiple rounds of other shit happening. A lot of it around just young people. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard, but there was like a dance. Like this, some dance went viral, and like kids were doing this dance in the street and making a video of it, and it came and arrested and like jailed a whole bunch of them. Right? They have no reason to like their own government. Essentially, like
Mm.
the government's not giving them a single reason to like them for any reason. Right? They can't have music. They can't have uh normal, social whatever relations. Like
Mm-hmm.
uh there's no outlet for fun of any kind, really. there are no jobs. It's completely hopeless. And then expenses, like everything's getting inflation and shit. They're seeing it. They're seeing their families, older generations' wealth just completely being erased, and they don't want this regime, right? So every time something happens, everyone's just all the anger is so bottled up. They're under so much pressure. It's like a pressure cooker. They're just looking for any excuse to go out there and protest. And this time around, they were sort of given a green light in a way. That they were given the one thing that they've always been looking for in every round in these protests. They've been looking for some sort of outside support, right? Um, and this time around, they were given that by Trump. Before the internet was cut off, they all got that message. Once the internet was cut off, I don't think
If
they've
this is
seen or heard
true, I
anything.
mean, Trump will be coming in. Maybe, I don't know.
What is
Well,
this?
Europe,
That's true?
Europe,
Can't read.
wait,
Europe.
breaking European believes. Well, that's just incorrect, right? European believes Russia's supplying Iran with Iskander missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads that indicate Iran has become 10th nuke country. Well,
That is such
someone has to
garbage.
someone has
First
to
of
go back
all,
to grammar school.
what's the source of this? It's called Daily Iran News, and it's got a Islamic Republic flag,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I think
So
we can see their source.
Yeah,
Hold
dude,
on,
they,
let's go.
you
Let's click
guys,
on the,
you already lost, man.
hold
Daily
on.
Iran, dude, they changed that flag. I stand with
you're
Iran. This is
you're
disgusting.
basically like
They're
looking
based
at
in Europe.
a very,
Dude, that's
Yeah,
a
they are.
shill.
All right.
biased source of news there, and that's interesting. I haven't seen that piece of propaganda from that machine yet, because if that's what they're trying to put out there as a
well, J.K.
another point to
Rowling
consider,
supporting Iran.
it's a really stupid one. That's a really stupid piece of propaganda to put out there. If you're even tacitly advertising the fact that, oh, maybe we got nuclear weapons now, and maybe we're going to get these missiles to put them on there.
Well, why wouldn't Russia help them if they wants and they got the money?
Dude,
Eh,
the
and
moment
oil.
there is even the slightest indication that they actually have a nuclear bomb, that's their death sentence.
And didn't they already release a fatwa or something, some kind of ruling where the supreme leader said we're not gonna,
He did that years ago,
we're
and
not gonna
then
touch nuclear
he
weapons?
has said that all the time, but obviously the last few years and more and
Yeah.
more tensions have opened up that conversation within the country about, hey, maybe we should get nuclear weapons. Look at North Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and look at Libya,
Mm-hmm.
or look at Iraq.
Libya has nuclear weapons now?
Libya wanted to get some,
Oh,
but they didn't, right? They gave up the nuclear
yeah.
program, and then a year later, Gaddafi was gone. Anyways, it is getting late. I know
Yeah,
you were
bro.
looking at your
Yeah,
watch,
we
and,
should.
we should
Let's wrap it up.
this
Cut
All
it.
right. Good night.
Thank you.